Ndumeliso katina phathutshedzo kha vhaṱaleli vhoṱhe vha Longa Khwanḓa podcast. Greetings and a blessing to everybody watching, my subscribers, followers, everybody who is tuned in on this podcast, Longa Khwanḓa podcast. Greetings to you, blessings to you. My colleagues, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Here comes the fourth episode. I made it through January. Thank you for the support. I am overwhelmed. I am overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. I am overwhelmed. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for everybody who's also talking to me personally, reminding me that I am coming across with a catching story, with a catching journey, and I must keep it up. And I thank God that there's still a journey ahead of this podcast. I said that I wish that this podcast will grow, and I will start to have guests, and we will share with the guests their academic journeys, just starting from childhood memories. I am very fascinated by childhood memories, and my own childhood memory, it's one that it's fascinating. I'm very fascinated about my own childhood journey. Okay, so thank you once more for tuning. As I did last week, I'm going to do it again today for the last time in January. Thank you very much. Here is a round of applause to all of you, my colleagues. Thank you. Thank you very much. I am on all social media. The handle is BebwellPR. I am on all social media. All social media. The handle is BebwellPR. Follow me as you've been following me throughout January. I'm also on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my professional CV. It's my professional profile. If you want to see what I have been, where I have been, what I have done academically since university, you can see what I'm up to now academically, and also professionally, you can see where I have worked, what I have done, and up to this year, 2025, what I'm doing. I have now exactly 12 years experience as a professional engineer. You can see that on LinkedIn. And lastly, this one is not very common or very famous, but it is known to the runners. I think in episode 2, yes, I was wearing a marathon t-shirt. And yes, I am an ultra marathon runner. If you are a runner, catch me, follow me, let's run together on Strava. Let's do those challenges on Strava together and just constantly run and run and run and run. Running is so amazing. You'd be surprised that almost everything that I have said on the past 3 podcasts has been through running. I would have ideas when running. Even the confidence of starting this podcast this year has been through running. When I was running this other half marathon, I felt I can do it and I'm going to start, and eventually I started. So follow me on Strava. Let's run together. We'll appreciate it. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. All right. So today, episode number 4, I wish to talk about, as I promised you, I wish to talk about my personal journey in the context of my academic journey. I think I will not emphasize enough on this podcast that everything on this podcast is based on my academic journey. My academic journey has an element of just University of Pretoria itself, where I was failing until I graduated. It has a spiritual layer where I realized that there was a spiritual warfare. It also has a personal layer. When I was at varsity, I went through a lot. I cried tears. As a guy, as a man, I'm not ashamed to say I cried tears at the University of Pretoria. I went through stuff on a personal level. And today I will just share very quickly. I don't want to record a long one today. I think I always wanted to record 15 minutes or less, at most 20. So if I really do 20 minutes, it's more than enough. I told you last week that I started dating at the age of 13. I got born again at the age of 14, and I started paying tithe at the age of 15. Throughout my secondary life, I had a girlfriend until the woman that I dated at the time decided to take an emergency exit out of my life 20 days before our 10th anniversary, which was going to be, I think it was November or December 2008. I don't remember the specific date or month, but it was at the end of the year of 2008. And interestingly, that is the year that, number one, I lost a bursary that year. I did not have a bursary that year. They said I was failing and they withdrew the bursary. Number two, that's the year that I was supposed to have finished, but I didn't finish. So the womb man in my life at the time decided to take an emergency exit. And I think it is like the EFF, if you know the EFF recently lost a vice president. And the president himself was saying, I cannot talk about the EFF without talking about the vice president, because when we started this thing, we started together. So my academic journey has the element of my personal life with this womb man who took an emergency exit in 2008. And I'm just quickly going to share that in the context of my academic journey, having dated from the age of 13 to 23, the most disappointing part is that, as I said, 20 days before the 10th anniversary, she sent me an email. Very simple. I thought about this. I'm leaving you for Joe Thomas. I'll just use the name Joe Thomas because if anyone knows Joe Thomas is a singer, American artist who sings about taking other women, other men's girls. He's got a few, I think about 3 songs. I can't remember them now. So that's how I came about with this name, Joe Thomas. And so she sends me an email and says, I'm leaving you for Joe Thomas. Interestingly enough, Joe Thomas knew that I was dating this lady because when we were at secondary school, or let me say we went together to secondary school with him. So he was aware that I was dating this lady. And I, at some point, was aware that Joe Thomas was hitting on the lady. So I then thought, okay, it's fine. Let me go and have a chat with Joe Thomas. Interestingly enough, Joe Thomas and I are from we're not from the same village, but we are from the same area. Our villages are adjacent to each other, and we stay less than 5 kilometers apart. So I went to his place, and when I got there, it was December of that year, few days after she left me, or after she took an emergency exit. That's how I'd like to say it. And then I went there, I found her with him. And then I just went there to congratulate him for winning the girl, and just be brave about this, to say, I'm giving up. There's nothing I can do. I cannot fight. I cannot beg her to stay. I cannot fight him because he made a choice, And so I got there. I find her with him. It was just less than 5 minutes chat. I played him a song by Colbert Mukwebo. Colbert Mukwebo is most people know him, but for anyone who doesn't know him, it's a reggae legendary reggae artist who sings in our native Chivenda language. He's amazing. He's become a doctor now. The University of Pretoria has given him an honorary doctor. So I played the guy, a song by Joe Thomas that says that Nemo fare zwavhuḓi. It means take care of her. So I just went there and say, my guy, you want the girl, take care of her and good luck. That's all. When I left, I was defeated. I was shattered. I almost regretted why I went there. But I thought, this is it. I only have myself left to pick up the pieces, everything. And I was defeated. I was defeated. But I picked up myself, and the other thing was that I knew that the only thing left is the University of Pretoria. If there was a point to prove in life, that was the point. Because the girl is leaving me when I'm losing a bursary. She's not leaving me. She's taking an emergency exit out of my life when I am losing a bursary, supposed to finish, I'm not finishing. At that point, I was not even aware that I'm going to spend 4 more years at varsity. I'm thinking maybe I'll finish the following year. But then she took the emergency exit. She started working. She's going to Joe Thomas, who's working. So I don't have to add 1 plus 1. You know, it is just one of those things. And University of Pretoria is all that I had. And she was right. Who would want to be stuck in such a case where you are working, there are other options, the guy you are with, the future is not looking so bright, and that's about it. I was left alone. I had the University of Pretoria. And like I told you, from there it became 4 years of going through, sleeping on campus, taking shower on campus, getting a letter from the university dismissing me, or they call it a letter of expulsion. That whole journey was just a way of God resetting my life. When I look back, I realized God was literally resetting my life. He reset my life. That moment sometimes is very difficult to be heard. It's painful. But if we look at it, we must be wise. God would be resetting a life, and that's how He reset my life. He gave me a perspective to just look back. He gave me a perspective just to be all by myself and to rethink things, go back to the drawing board, as people say. And at the end, I realized, as I told you, there was a lot of spiritual warfare in my life. And personally, it has just been about that dating life. And I will tell you more. In as much as I will protect and say everything in love, not to be too explosive into my personal life, but it has just been another journey, another layer of my academic journey that personally it has been tough. And I'm reminded about the story of Joseph. When Joseph revealed himself to his brothers after they sold him, all he said was, "Don't worry about it. It wasn't you guys. God had a bigger plan." And that is why we need to forgive people in life when they hurt us. Sometimes it's very difficult to forgive. But if you can give it a different perspective and just look at it from God's point of view, you'll realize that no matter how hectic your life is, no matter how hectic your life is, no matter how hurt, no matter how difficult, no matter how much you have failed as a person, from God's perspective, that's why the scripture says all things work together for good. And that's about, in summary, what I can say about my personal life, what I have seen in university while I was navigating this academic journey. I navigated a personal layer, I navigated a spiritual layer, and also I navigated the actual academic layer. It has been challenging, but I can stand here now and say I made it, and by God's grace. 12 years of working experience as a professional, everybody can do it. All we want is just an opportunity. All we want is just one leg into varsity, one leg. Longa Khwanḓa, just one leg, just one foot in. That opportunity is all we seek. And South Africa and I, through God, can do this. We can come together and provide those opportunities. The biggest challenge, unfortunately, because of poor backgrounds, is finances. I pray that God makes it possible that we raise funds. I paid tithe from the age of 15. I believe God trusts me with money. I believe God trusts me to be accountable with South Africa's money, to raise it and channel it to the right places. There's a lot of corruption, we know. But with the experience of a 15-year-old up to a 40-year-old who has been paying tithe, I will tell you more about this whole journey of paying tithe. But from that perspective, I believe God has entrusted me through Longa Khwanḓa NPC, through this podcast that I am constantly going to post something. It might be relevant, but consistently, I will be building towards a goal that we can achieve so that we can provide those opportunities. We can eradicate poverty over and over again through education. Thank you for watching for the whole month of January. My name is Phumudzo Mofatuchezwa, the Blessed One, Vorachitanga Bebwele, Mr. BBL to you.